When you're a crafter like me, you can't help it. No matter where you are, you look around and you think, what can I make with these? So today, let's make some jam with berries that we've foraged. So today we're going to be picking blackberries. It's one of my favourite jams anyway. I wish I could give you a definite date of when's the best time to go blackberry picking, but it completely depends on what the weather's been like, where exactly you live. For me, I picked these in sort of early September. My best advice really is just to keep your eyes open, see when the blackberries start appearing and see when they look like they're ready to pick. You know that they're ready to pick when they are fully this dark purple blackberry colour and there's no red or green bits left on them. And also if you do sort of pull at them, they come off the branch really easily, so you shouldn't have to be sort of yanking them off to be able to pick them. I got home, rinsed them off and then weighed them so that I knew how much of the other ingredients I needed to buy, and then I popped them in the freezer. I want to make a traditional apple and blackberry jam, so I'm going to buy the same amount of apples as the weight of blackberries that I have. And then you need the same amount of sugar as the amount of fruit you have. I'm actually going to try and use this jam sugar, which I've never used before, but we'll see how it goes. Just as an example, I had about 1 kilo of blackberries, so I got 1 kilo of apples, and then I've got 2 kilos of sugar for this recipe. The final ingredients are water and lemon juice. For the lemon juice, I just add a squeeze or sort of to taste, and for the water, it was about 500 mils for this 2 kilo batch. Conveniently, blackberries are already quite small, so we just need to chop up the apples. Definitely leave the skin on when you're chopping them up. It helps to increase the apple flavour, and it also helps with the pectin to help the jam set. I tried chopping the apples into sort of blackberry sized pieces. It doesn't matter too much because we will be just boiling it down till it all turns to mush, but I think it makes the process a little bit quicker. The only parts of the apple that don't make it into the bowl and into the jam are the core and the seeds. Then we put the apples and the water into the pot and put it on the sort of medium-high heat. This is just until the apples go a bit mushy. Obviously they'll take a bit longer to break down than the blackberries will. You can also add a squeeze of lemon juice here. Remember not to add too much, you can always add more later, but I think it just evens out the flavour. Once the apples are soft, it's time to add the blackberries. I also add about half the sugar here. You can throw it all in, but I like to have a bit more control over how sweet it is in the end, so I add about half here and then add more later to taste. It's then time to turn up the temperature and get it to a boil. You can use a sugar thermometer to make sure that you've got it to the right temperature, but as long as it's boiling and you leave it there for, I'd say, at least half an hour, you should have jam in the end. Make sure you keep a close eye on it. With the amount of sugar and fruit in it, it can catch really easily, and if you're not careful and you look away for just a minute, it can ruin the whole batch. So once it's been boiling for about half an hour, you can add any other flavours that you might want to. A common one is gin or some kind of alcohol, but you can use vanilla or you can just leave it as apple and blackberry. So there's a few ways to tell if your jam's ready without the use of a thermometer. One way is to coat the back of a spoon, and if you can draw a line through it with your finger, being careful with the hot jam obviously, and the line stays there, that means that the jam is going to set. Another way is to put a plate in the fridge or the freezer so that it's cold, and then you put a drop of the jam on it, and if that sets, then you know that the rest of the batch will too. If you're happy to have bits in your jam, then you can stop here and basically put those in jars and you're done. I like to have my jam smooth, so I've got a few extra steps. The first one is to use this mixer just to blend everything together and get it as smooth as possible. And then the next step is to run it through a sieve. This step can take quite a while and it does add quite a lot of time to the jam making process, but I think it makes for a better product in the end. So another part of being a crafter, I think, is also being a bit of a hoarder. I keep all the jam jars that we ever finish, and I also keep them with the lids on because it's so easy to lose the lids in the back of the cupboard. Saving your jam jars saves you a lot of money and is good for recycling or reusing. I've found that buying jam jars to make jam is actually more expensive than buying the jars full of jam at the shop. So finally, the most satisfying bit, pouring the jam into your jars. If you pour it while it's still hot, it actually makes a better seal. I hope that you've enjoyed making jam with me. It's really brought back some great childhood memories. Me and my nan used to go blackberry picking pretty much every year and then make the jam in her kitchen, so it really does fill me with joy to be able to do this. Please feel free to share your tips or recipes in the comments below, and if you like what you see, please think about subscribing and liking the video. Jam can make a great gift, so you can even add your own labels or ribbons, but for now I'm just going to leave these as is.